Right, welcome back, guys. We have got a push day going down, which I cannot wait for. Now, I do have some hard body single ply knee sleeves just in case I need them. That is because now I am getting much heavier and I do have very, very small joints. Any of you that have seen me before, even seen me on stage, my knees are like this and my elbows are as well. So my joints, the connective tissue, are extremely small, which means that as I get heavier, the pressure that's on my knees is always greater. So I have to be careful. Now, I am never ever a fan of any other accessories apart from lifting straps. However, you've got to remember one thing, right? All accessories are tools. Tools that you can use or abuse. So with that in mind, guys, if you do opt to use any accessories like sleeves or even knee wraps, make sure you're not using them to simply add more load on the bar, because that's not your goal when you're trying to actually grow muscle tissue. Your goal is always accuracy. And with that in mind, sometimes you actually don't want to move more load, because if you can grow from using a 40 pound dumbbell versus having to use a 100-pound dumbbell, you probably are going to have a longer run in your career using that 40-pound dumbbell if that's all you need to grow. So, you know, sometimes it does make sense to try and get the most out of the least. And the same principle applies for your food, your supplementation, and training. Don't try and get ahead of yourself. Lift heavier weights because you get big, not all the way around. You don't get big by simply forcing yourself to train heavier. It should be a process that comes with time and adaptation. Like that. Right, guys, new sessions are going down, so I am going to go through all of the sessions of the new training program. And when I say training program, just a new training cycle, just a new training block, or like the geeks like to say, new mesocycle. Not really. I mean, it's just a new training block. So deload's done. I am lowering the volume per session and increasing frequency. So we are going to run 3 days on, 1 off, push-pull legs. Today's session, 11 total working sets. 3 sets of line hamstring curl, 2 sets of leg extension, 1 set of leg press, 1 set of a nasty RDL variation. I cannot wait to show you. 1 set of seated hamstring curl, 2 calves done. Now, for me, it's a way I can find, or if there's a way for me to be able to do more work, I will always take the route of more work. All this means now is making sure that my volume is appropriate and my recovery is also appropriate to be able to match the frequency of the workload that I currently have for this new training block. So, game time, let's get it. Oh. Oh. What I was saying, how much is it going to fucking cry doing these RDLs later? It's going to be horrible.
Yeah. What are we doing the master block?
Yeah. I don't want to touch the floor.
Okay.
I want the tension on constantly.
Okay.
So I want them like nasty.
Yeah, I reckon I have to pull back to maybe 4 plates max.
Max.
Yeah, honestly.
Max. And we're going to use just the metal plates so we don't have to, so there's no chance it's going to touch the floor.
There you go, lovely. On it. Right.
Okay, let's get it.
If you've got to fuck about with it, why don't you just use a different machine?
Because I like this one. And what you'll find as well is there's a lot of machines that we actually change slightly so that we can get more from them. And generally, that's just the slight flaws with certain companies. They will never, apart from Nitram one day, that's the goal with what we do. There's not a single brand of machinery where we can get on every machine and it just clicks. There's always something off that we need to adjust to fit us rather than forcing ourselves to fit a machine. And that's where most people go wrong, is they think that's overcomplicated. It's like, it's not. It's something super simple. I'm adding a piece of fucking wood to make a machine better. Elevate my hip positioning, which means my hips are more locked in and actually get more out of my hamstring. It's not rocket science. It's just using common sense. So anything can do to make an exercise more effective or give you more range of motion or simply feel better, it's always worth doing. Always. Coming away from a hamstring curl, how do I gauge if my hamstring curls were successful or not? If I go into a leg extension and it hurts when I'm extending from a knee and my hamstrings keep pumping up, so you know it's been a successful session so far. Beautiful. You've got to stay fucking focused. Session breakdown so far. Always start hamstring curl. Big up to John Meadows, one of the greatest trainers of all time. About 15 years ago, probably I was over-exaggerating, but probably about 10 years ago, I watched a video of John training legs. And he said he always starts with hamstring curl to warm up his knee joint. But not just that. Back in the day, when it came to leg training, all he used to do is squat and leg extension. I didn't know hamstring curl. I definitely showed him my first show. So I am of an opinion that your hamstrings can never be big enough. So you should always start your session with a hamstring curl to not only get a massive hamstring, but also warm up the knee joint before you move on to leg extension or a squat pattern or a leg press. Best of both worlds, right? Juicy hamstring, healthy knees, good prehab before you get into big stuff. The goal of any exercise you go into anytime, but especially after taking a break, you want to reset your loading slightly and reset your execution. So you want to create as much of a runway for progression as possible within the upcoming weeks and months of training. The last thing that you want to do is go in the gym and completely trash yourself and lift above and beyond your means. You want to have training runs that are as long as possible and as progressive as possible. Remember guys, progression takes time. You come in the gym, you break down the muscle tissue, you eat, you recover, you repair the tissue, you come back in the gym, and then hopefully your muscle has grown, you've adapted, you've grown, and you can lift more load by a process of that happening, not through trying to force adaptation, through just trying to lift heavy. And again, heavy is relative. I will always come in the gym and lift as heavy as I physically can, whilst maintaining my composure and execution and staying safe. Most bodybuilders make a huge mistake with not attacking the working sets on machines like this with the same intent as they do on a leg press or a big squat pattern. If you go into every single exercise with the same mentality that you have for your big compound lifts, the amount of growth that you will see will be huge, because every single set that you do in the gym truly matters and plays a massive, massive role in your progression. This is equally as important as the big stuff. So make sure that you attack all of your sets with the same intent, the same focus, the same intensity as you would any big compound exercise or an exercise you may have an emotional attachment to that brings out of you. Focus and attack your sets. Intensity breeds immensity. Remember that. Full extension and pause there. Yes. Come on, nail it hard. Come on. Let's go. Excellent. Shins forward and then up, not fucking up. Shins forward, forward then up. Better. Nice. Leave it there. Excellent work, big man.
Trying to get people to stay in the sets hard.
You can't.
No, wait, no.
I literally have clients, right, that are high level. And I watch them, and it's probably 5 reps left. And I mean 5 legit reps left before.
Yeah.
But the problem is, when it hurts, people start to then fidget and move to try and make it easier. It's a natural reaction, because when you're staying in a set, you're almost pushing through the pain, and your body's not going to want to get there. Do you know what I mean? So you have to stay locked in and just ignore the pain. I don't think a lot of people have the ability to do that. I've been forced to do it from a young age.
Yeah.
Tony Megson, if you're watching it, love you. My first training partner. Every Sunday morning we'd train legs. He'd pick me up 8 o'clock sharp. Very punctual man. I would train legs on Sunday every week. Saturday would be the first day when I could sit down on the toilet without having to hold on.
And then leg day again.
And then leg day again on Sunday. For months, mate, months and months. And he was the one that really taught me how to take my sets all the way there, how to take my sets past failure, but also taught me how to actually spot effectively. So I'll always be grateful for him, man. Such a great guy. And the thing is, the lessons I've had from them are serving me now, because I've never really had friends that are my age. All my friends were like 15 years older than me.
Which is why you matured fast.
Yeah, but I never had anything in common with people that were my age, ever, really. Especially back then. Like back then I wanted to fucking work. I wanted to get somewhere. Whereas, people like when they're 15, 16.
Drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked at that and thought, pathetic. Bit of a life lesson for you? Right.
How much of a role do you think telling yourself you can do something plays in your training?
Massive role. I think you'll probably see me do it sometimes before the sets. Like, I will often be quite vocal there, telling myself I'm gonna get it, or when I lift off, I'm like, it's fucking easy. I think sometimes it almost gives you like a euphoric feeling. So, Mental Hellsman, if you don't follow him, guys, make sure you give him a follow. He's actually done a study where it backs it up, where a lot of the lifters that actively said what they was going to do actually improved the training performance. But it's something that we've done for many, many years, even without studies backing it up. See a lot of elite powerlifters often telling themselves they've got it. If you tell yourself something and you truly believe it, you are more than likely to do it. I go into sets knowing I'm fully capable of doing that lift. I will never do something that's unrealistic. However, I do challenge myself, and I do tell myself that I'm going to do the things that I haven't done before, often. If you don't have the self-belief, and if you don't practice self-talk, I think you will always limit yourself. And for me, it's just more fun. I like to challenge myself. I like to speak into existence. I like to make things happen. So, goal setting, self-talk plays a massive role for me, it does anyway. Try it out. So I kind of want to see where I'm kind of coming down to without my hips rolling too much. So I basically want to get max range of motion I can on this.
Bit deeper. Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. I just wanted to go over my intra-workout at the moment. So I've got 20 grams of MPS Max here. Blackcurrant is actually my favourite flavour, called Kuba 10, if you want to get yours. And I've got 60 grams of Performance Fuel. Now, Performance Fuel is cyclic dextrin. We do have stevia sweetened as well, which is very easy on the gut. And generally, this is my protein serving that I have mid-session. That's just the way I like to space out my protein serving so they're even across the day. Then my carbohydrates I actually start to sip on my first warm-up set in my session. And I aim to actually finish this before my second to last exercise. And generally, this is always mixed with around 1.3 litres of water. And I will work this up to probably 100 grams of carbs if I need to. So not only this will improve your recovery, but it does help to replenish glycogen stores whilst you train, especially for me having longer sessions. But I do think that having some intra-workout carbs does have merit when it comes to training performance and your endurance across the session, especially when you are someone that does have longer sessions, does have huge benefits. So if you are not having an intra-workout drink, I think you are definitely missing a trick. Now, I do also have 5 grams of glutamine and 3 grams of creatine in here. So at the moment, I do have glutamine pretty much first thing in the morning, pre-workout, intra-workout, and pre-bed. Main reason for that is it's great for digestion, great for gut health, and aids hydration. And I do have creatine first thing in the morning for cognitive function, and pre-workout and intra-workout, because it does help with training performance, but also creatine is a mild GDA, so massive benefits with that. So that's my pre and intra-workout concoction, guys. Use it and get massive. Bow down. I think that's my range, isn't it? So like I mentioned before, my goal isn't just to move the load. I want to move the load with as much accuracy, as much range of motion and control as possible. So the tension exclusively stays on the tissue. Now don't get me wrong, as you get bigger, as you get stronger, as you get heavier, your connective tissue will take a beating, but this is where great sups like Join In come into play. Ever since recently I've just doubled up on my joint intake, my joints have been really, really good. So I'm actually able to do the lifts that I've never really done before, ever, or come close to, without knee sleeves, without elbow sleeves. So when you are moving poundages you know have done consistently over time, with better range of motion, better execution, that means you simply have more muscle to be able to do so. And that is the case for myself. So some of the lifts that you've seen me do now, or you will see me do, you've probably seen me do similar loads before, but nowhere near the same control, nowhere near the same range of motion, and always wearing thick sleeves. So I definitely think I am the biggest I've been. Today especially, I weighed out 266.6 pounds, and I am still pretty lean. So I'm pleased but not satisfied. There's a lot more work to be done.
Oh yeah. Yep. Any more? There you go. Nice. Yeah. one. Big one. Stick it in. Track hard. Nice. Yep. Take one. There you go. Nice. One more.
Ho, 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 ho. I've got, what, 3 months left? We both have 3 months left of the off season. So, well, this is only going to have a good carryover into when we start prep. Because think about this, right? When we get really good at the big compound lifts that require a lot of stability, when we then move on to machines that are already externally braced, so you don't really need any internal stability, you're provided with stability through the machine, you will be so much better, so much safer, so much stronger. So that's the whole point of incorporating some free weights into our programming at the time when it's productive to do so, which is at your safe, productive, strong body weight. For me, that's between 260 and above. So one thing you've noticed now, as of recent, I've incorporated dumbbell press, safety bar squat, and a deadlift variation. That's because I am now at a body weight where it's safe for me to do these lifts and they will be productive. So, time and a place, guys. Machines over free weights. That is the question. Last time I did this video where I spoke about machines over free weights, a lot of people got butt hurt. So at least now you've got an understanding of what I do and why.
You are allowed to say that these are fun as well.
Oh yeah, they are fucking fun.
As well as just being productive, like.
Yeah, well, it's, to be honest, like, I could do an exercise that's more productive, but I also want to do something really fucking hard when it's productive to do so. Do you know what I mean? Right now, I'm not super lean. I'm still relatively lean, but I'm now at a body weight where I can handle movements that are not just braced.
So your last one would be 2 plates less than you would in set than you can do set.
My last one was going to be 3 plates.
And then you're going to do 4 if you will.
Yeah.
Why don't you do 160 with 7?
I don't need to. If I felt a bit off, or I needed to do another set to get myself right or execution, I would. But because I'm going into each warm-up here and everything's just clicking, I just don't need as many warm-up sets. Because 4 plates for us is still a very comfortable weight as well. If I was doing 5 today, I'd probably need a few more warm-up sets. However, because it's 4 plates and I know that it's not really a heavy weight for me, I don't need as many warm-ups. It's just this first session doing this now, I really want to make sure I'm super accurate with it and just make it as hard as possible.
At this point in the session as well, you've already warmed. I think people warm up way.
They just waste time. I've said it so many times, people just over warm up. Do loads of reps to try and get a pump. It's like, what are you trying to do with like a plate? It's not going to break any tissue down. Save your energy for the big stuff.
Hardest one. You. Take the pause. Yeah. Now. That's pretty easy, man. There you go.
Oh, that feels beautiful.
Beautiful.
Why are you doing another line leg curl?
Spinal decompression for one. Think about position you're in there. You pull yourself in, your hips are coming that way, getting pulled by the load. You pull yourself that way, so in essence, you're decompressing your spine. And hamstring volume. Another set of RDL would be counterproductive. So we opt for something that's less demanding recovery and still gives us some quality stimulus on the hamstring. So just one single set. And again, no warm-up sets here. We know exactly what load we need to use, so we're straight in. Alright guys, that's the session wrap up. Hope you enjoyed today's session. It was an eventful one. On paper, it doesn't look like much, but it definitely is pretty challenging, especially with movements we have and how intentional we are with the movements as well. So guys, hope you enjoyed today's session. This is my legs B variation. As promised, I will go over every single session and I will do a separate video covering my training plan in detail and what changes I've made, what volume I have set and why, and give you more of a breakdown on the exercise selection as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care and peace out for now.